Harry. Here he comes.
Calvin Castine at the Rouse's Point American Legion, post 912 on Pratt Street, and it's the 30th day of March 2012, and a couple of days ago I got a phone call, and I just happened to be available on this on this Friday evening, which doesn't happen that often, but I'm kind of between seasons right now. And I've been called here for what was supposed to be a big surprise party, and I pick up yesterday's paper, and and I read all about it again. So hopefully George Rivers doesn't read the paper, but probably he does.
Oh, he does.
So we'll start with you since you're closest to me, Jerry. If you introduce yourself and tell us why we're here.
I'm Jerry Favreau, and the way this all started was I asked George to come to the Legion for a drink on his last day of work, just to say thank you to him. And then I came to a Historical Society meeting a few days later, and I mentioned it at the meeting, and everybody was so positive and gung-ho, and here we are, and this is what we're doing. So it's a wonderful group of volunteers that have put it all together. Yeah.
Okay, and the George, as we said, was George Rivers, and his last day of work is because actually tomorrow, if he shows up, if anything happens in the village, he will still be mayor. But after, I guess, 14 years, from what I've read on this big card that they made for him, after 14 years in the office of mayor, which doesn't seem that long, but...
And 2 years as trustee before that.
I know, he was on
Yeah.
the board before that, yeah.
Yeah.
So he decided not to run, and as of April 1st, 2012, he will no longer be mayor. So that's why you're calling this his last day of work, although he's on call tomorrow. You
Yes,
realize
he
that?
is. Yes. Yeah. And the new board doesn't get sworn in
Sunday.
until Monday.
Oh,
So, yeah.
even though that's kind of in limbo, though, isn't it?
Right. Yeah.
He's still a boss.
Officially,
He's still the boss,
yes.
so the board is sworn in.
Yes. And he gave me a hard time about this, too, a couple of times this week, and I told him that I don't take orders from him anymore.
Well, maybe if he had to fire you, he should have done it this week.
Right.
'Cause next week is too late.
Yep.
Now, you don't mind if I step in front of you here?
No,
Okay.
go right ahead. No.
All right, I'm going to talk to this next person. Your name?
Mary Rassico.
And you're from Rouse's Point here
Been here
recently.
a while, yes, I have.
Now we've got a Cherubusco girl back here. And
Moore's Forks,
Morris Forks,
but now Ross's Point for a lot of years.
Rouse's Pointer. And you're part of this committee?
I am. I happened to be away in Italy, and when I came back, I found out I was on the committee.
Well, isn't that nice?
It was. Well, it's actually, George has been, I think, a very dedicated mayor, and we've been lucky to have somebody that would serve the village for 14 years, and he certainly has the village's interest in his heart, and I think it's important that we do something to make him remember, let him know that we appreciated him. And Jerry, or whoever started this, certainly took a good step in doing that.
Okay. I think just putting your name on the committee gives the committee so much more prestige. And
Really?
That's why they did that.
Oh, okay.
An honorary position. You had something to say?
Yes,
As
Carol-
if she never had something to say.
Carol Hanfield, who was camera shy and wouldn't come up with us, had a lot to do with it, too. And she's talked about doing something, wanted the community to do something for George, and been talking about it for a while. So she had a big part in it, too, even though she's not up here.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to make sure I got her name on.
Before we all forgot.
Right.
All right. Thank you, Mary.
You're welcome.
And keep reading that Islander, right?
Oh, yes. I keep plugging along, whether I'm gone or here.
I
We
know.
get something in, because thanks to you, because you always send me your
Yeah, I don't give up
programming.
this much-
That's
this much
okay.
stuff.
Everything helps. Sometimes I'm looking for this much.
Keeps us informed.
Right.
What's going on?
All right, next. who we
Kay
have?
Pappin.
And what are you doing here, Kay?
Oh, I'm just here to be part of this little group and to honor George for all he's done for our community and to give him a special thank you and a good send-off and wish him a happy retirement.
You know anything about a Pappin that used to do what she's doing now?
Yes, I do. Very much. Well, Luella, yes, for
Actually-
many years, and she loved doing it, yes.
Actually, Luella was very ill, and I had just started writing for the Islander, and she took the time to call me and tell me how happy she was that I was working for the Islander. So I thought that was very special.
I can still
Yeah,
see
she's a
Luella
special
sitting at
lady.
that typewriter, the old manual typewriter, and with the phone here and just pecking away and just loving every minute of it. And she had her little sources of information. She knew to call.
And before that, longtime editor at the North Countryman, and you'd
Yep.
see her sitting at her, where the Armin's 2 is right now. You'd see her, that was where the North Countryman was. And
That's right.
Yeah.
you'd see her sitting there at her typewriter and you went down on Lake Street.
She always managed to get the mail out, even when the paper out, even when she lived up on the lake at Stony Point and had to come out by boat in the spring and the flooding. She just still hung right in there. She was a great gal.
Okay.
Yeah.
What association have you had with George over the years? Anything special?
Oh, just part of the community, flowers, beautification. All of us are involved in flowers. So he's been a good guy.
You're all beautifiers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you say we were all beautiful?
Beautifiers. I would say that, but my wife Judy, Judy's running the camera, and she
Okay. We'll let you say it another
put you out of
time.
focus just for spite. And your name?
I'm Alice Mossy.
That's the person who called me is named Alice Mossy.
Yeah, you're
probably the
right.
one.
I'm probably the one. Originally from the big city of Montreal.
Okay.
Loving it here. Back in Rouse's Point and loving it.
Where were you from originally, Kay?
West Shazy, Beamantown.
J.C. Beamantown. All over the Northeast.
Yeah,
they gather
we
here
are.
and come to
We're
all
taking
corners.
over.
Okay, you've got a program that
I do, and it's
produced by
delightful.
who?
It's produced by, designed by Elaine Cloutier, and her father,
husband
Jim.
was former mayor.
Yes, that's true. And her father, Jim Rochester, who, helped design this. It's a beautiful
Border Press.
card, one of a kind. No one will ever have one like it.
Okay, let's.
So we're
hold that up.
delighted with it.
Let's make sure Judy can see it here. All right, you can see that. And you got the front here with the.
Did you get the front,
We
Judy?
got the
Yeah.
25-year-old bridge right there.
And I think George deserves this. Apart from being mayor, I think he was the captain of the fire department, wasn't he, for numerous years? I mean, he's given his whole life to this village. He deserves it.
Okay, he deserves to retire.
Well, he deserves a little bit of attention for retiring. Yes,
okay.
a little bit of attention.
I just wanted to clarify what
Yeah.
you had said. Who's spark started all this?
Jerry and whoever she was talking to.
Carol. Yeah,
you and
Carol
Carol?
and I talking in the village office, yeah. Yeah, that we should really do something for him because he's just been so important to the community. He's done so much, and like they said, he has given his heart and soul. And miles he's been all over. He's
Fire
always
chief for so
gone.
many years
Yeah,
and,
55.
5 years in the fire department, not
Yeah.
chief for 55.
Not cheap, right? Yeah,
And he was county coordinator for a while.
yeah.
Many years.
Oh, and
yes, yes.
I was just impressed that someone called from Lake Placid, who used to go to meetings with them for the mayor's meetings, and 4 people are coming here today just because they heard this was going on. I think that's pretty neat.
So is
I
he
think
getting it
that's
in the
really,
paper? Getting it in the paper
no,
paid
no,
off,
no,
no?
no. They heard about it before.
Apparently Jim King, though, I believe he was with the fire
Yeah, Jim was
coordinator,
fire-
and he and his wife are coming this evening. So
Okay.
it's very nice that other people are recognizing him, not just Ross's Pointers.
Judy, I'm going to ask you to turn the camera because walking across the street
Great.
Good,
is
are we
the
done?
mayor,
Okay.
and you guys have got a cut. All right,
Are we
we're done.
finished?
Just like that, we're done. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, there he is. Here he comes. It's blurry, she says. That's because she's got too much light on the subject. Let's see, there we go. There they are. Okay, we're going to keep the camera rolling and adjust our lighting here as we go. Okay, we were struggling here. We got problems with our camera that we don't need, but he has entered the room. Here we go. This is almost live here. We have the same problems as we would if we were going live. There's Peg, his wife, Mike O'Brien, and Mayor Rivers is down that hallway hanging up his jacket, I believe. The new mayor, of course, taking over very shortly, will be Francis Baker, aka Bumper Baker. And I guess I've been told that Sir Dennis Robert here will be the Master of Ceremonies. And there's George getting his first hug. Looks like that was Trustee Penfield giving him his first hug. We had trouble there. We went from the darkness here to the brightness outside, so we unfortunately weren't able to capture him coming down the street. Now approaching 5 p.m. and people are gathering in. The MC, Dennis Roberts, is at the podium. People are continuing to filter in as we stand here. More and more people are coming. It started at 4:30, but we expect people to show up throughout the part of the evening.
And I'd like to welcome everybody to this little George Rivers appreciation evening. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dennis Roberts, and I'm going to try and entertain you for a short amount of time and ask some people to come up and say a few words. So, it's great to see so many people here, and I'd like to introduce and thank our local dignitaries for coming and showing their support. Our past legislator, Celine Paquette, who was our legislator during George's early years as mayor. Our current legislator, Mr. Harry McManus. Thank you, Molly Warian, for coming and representing Mr. Congressman Dolone's office. Now, this is not what George wanted, by all means. But somehow, what started out to be a small gathering turned into be a little bit bigger than that. And George kind of... I have to be careful because I have hometown cable here. George kind of like saw me last night and he said, I don't want a big thing, I don't want a big thing, I don't want a big thing. I said, George, don't have to worry about that. I've talked to Peg and you know where I'm going. So George, obviously by everybody being here, it's just a small token of our appreciation for everything that you have done for us for the last 14 years. And I'm sure that's why everybody is here. And I'm not sure if they're here to thank you and wish you well, or to pay some of these to Peg. Now, before you go any further, those of you who don't know me, you need to know that I've known George Rivers for, well, basically all my life. And I've been in the fire department with him for over 28 years. And we've spent many, many hours together. And needless to say, we've had our times of picking on each other. And Red Wilder and John Cuckrow, God rest her soul, they taught me how to pick on George Rivers. So let's say George and I have an understanding. And he knows that this is all in fun, and I'm not here to embarrass him or make him look bad. He can do that all by himself. Anyways, I need to tell you this little story that happened just a few months ago, prior to one of the board meetings. George came to a board meeting and he was telling us how happy he was that Peg had announced that she had found a part-time job. So he continues on and tells us after 10 years of being retired, she now feels it's time she finds a part-time job. So I asked George, so George, when did Peg start looking for that job? So he tells me, a couple months ago. So I said, isn't that around the same time that you announced you weren't running for mayor again? He said, yep, that's right. Now I always thought George was a very intelligent man. But somehow he couldn't put those two occasions together. Him retiring as mayor and Peg getting a part-time job. I actually had to sit and explain to him and let him know that, Peg realized that if he wasn't going to be mayor anymore, that meant he was now going to be home with her most of the day. And knowing that, she must have thought, George is going to be home all day. I've got to get a job. So I'm not sure if that's exactly why you got a job, Peg, but I bet you it's got a lot to do with it. So anyways, at this time, I'd really like Mr. McManus, if you could come up and say a few words, please. Harry McManus,
This is something that I felt was needed, and George has done an awful lot for this village. Dear George, I'd like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to you for a lifetime of public service to the people of Rouse's Point. As you step down as chief executive of our village, I'm compelled to reflect on the fact that your vision was always to make Rouse's Point both the best and most desirable place to live. You have fulfilled that vision. You've always been ahead of the curve on issues facing this village. Additionally, your dedication as fire chief exemplified by the fact that you always wanted the best fire department in Clinton County, whether it was in the area of training, equipment, and service. Your pride and the pride you instilled in the department was second to none, and is reflected in the work that is done by the fire department on a daily basis. One only has to walk around this village to appreciate the beauty that has been created by your leadership. You accomplished economic development, downtown revitalization, underground electric service, and waterfront beautification, just to name a few. Many leaders have talked about these goals. You did them. Further, these accomplishments were achieved in both prosperous times as well as times of major economic stress, a true testament to your leadership. You are known all over the state of New York as the face of Rouse's Point. You are a passionate advocate for your hometown, and you believe that government should be proactive. I have no doubt when the history of Rouse's Point is written or updated, there will be chapters dedicated to Mayor George A. Rivers, describing the positive results that you've had on people's lives. Rouse's Point is a far better place to live because of your dedicated public service, your ability to make government a positive instrument for its citizens. George, you will be missed. Thank you.
Thank you, Harry, and thank you for all you do for our community. Thank you, Harry. Bear with me because I just threw this together last night. All right, George, there's an organization that really appreciates everything that you have done as mayor. And at this time, I would like to ask, and I apologize if I pronounce his name wrong, but Mr. John Bauk, a representative from Municipal Electric Utilities Association of New York, to come up and say a few words. John?
First, I'd like to say thank you. You got the name exactly right. Thank you. I'm here representing New York Municipal Electric Utility Association and also NIMPA this time. And I have a letter and a plaque to give to George. I'll read the letter to you. Dear Mayor, well, you proved me wrong. I didn't believe you would ever retire. The community owes you a great deal of gratitude for the years of service you have given, for the many accomplishments you have achieved during your tenure. As for the MUA and NIP organizations, we will miss you as you have been, an active member for many years representing Rouse's Point interest. Thank you for serving on the NIPA board, which is highlighted with you presiding in 2010 and 11 as president. Your leadership has been exemplary, and experience and smiling face will be missed by the membership. The MUA is also thankful for the various committees you served on as chairman of the nominating committee. For many years, you've you've helped get the best candidates in position to serve on the executive committee. I'm sorry I could not be there to enjoy your party in your honor, but a scheduled vacation with my wife, celebrating our 40th anniversary, was cast in stone. Speaking of wives, your wife Peggy has been the biggest supporter and deserves a lot of credit as well. Again, thanks for your service and support. May God bless you and Peggy in your retirement years. I will be in touch. That's signed by Tony McCaffrey. I also like to go a little farther. George, you've been a staunch supporter of the organization very much. And when it comes to making nominations, you're the one that supported me in my role as on the executive committee. And say thank you. I've got 1 year left. I may do it again, but I don't think so, George. But thank you very much, and have a great retirement.
George, I just want to make a comment from Chief Police Mike McBingle. He also extends his congratulations to you, and sorry he couldn't be here this evening as he's on his way to Florida. And he thanks you for the support over the years, and thank you for being a good mayor, and he wishes you well. So, at this time, I would like to ask Melissa McManus and Penfield to come up, please. They have some letters.
Thank you, Dennis. I had probably a unique opportunity to travel around with George and see how very well respected and in what high regard he's held in Albany and throughout New York State. I work in local government, and there's nowhere that I go that I don't meet a fire chief that knows George and has a story, doesn't have a story to tell about George. And throughout the Department of State, through all of the agencies we work with, George is so well respected. So I have a few, with help from Kelly, things to share from his friends in Albany and around the state. First of all, our Assemblywoman Janet Dupree sends her best regards. She will be calling you. She's tied up voting on the budget in Albany, but she will be in touch. And your friend and fellow Mayor Paul Maroon from Tupper Lake also sent his best. He'll be giving you a call too. So many people would have been here if they could. So just wanted to let you know. I'll pass this off to Kelly. The first letter that I'd like to read is from actually Betty Little from the New York State Senate. Dear Mayor Rivers, it is with warm wishes that I congratulate you as you retire from your position as mayor of the village of Rouse's Point. I have always enjoyed meeting with you over the years. You have been a great advocate for the village of Rouse's Point, serving with integrity, fortitude, and concern for the community's best interests. You are fortunate to be able to look back on your career with satisfaction, knowing that it was productive and had a positive impact on the lives of many. As you enter into retirement and depart from your post, you can take pride in your many accomplishments. Congratulations on your retirement and best wishes for continued health and happiness. Sincerely, Betty Little. I want you to know that when George started as mayor, we didn't have to share reading glasses. But now you don't get anymore without the glasses. Did you put your feet up on Senator Little's desk the way you did Congressman McHugh? Just wondering. He was known in the congressman's office for walking in and putting his feet up. This is from your friend down in Plattsburgh, Gary Douglas, who you two went through a lot together in those days when Wyeth announced the closure. Dear George, as I have said in the past, one word I would never have used to describe you is retiring, but you've gone and done it. In my 20 years with the North Country Chamber, working on issues and projects around the region, I've worked with a great many local officials. I have always found almost all of them to be committed to their communities and wanting to do the right things. But there are only a few I have come to truly regard as friends and partners, and who I have come to thoroughly respect as exemplary public leaders. You, George, are at the top of that list. Through downtown and waterfront revitalization efforts to securing funding for the train station, I've seen a mayor who provides the determined leadership that a small community needs in that office. But the real test isn't the positive efforts like these, but the response to tough challenges, like the downsizing and impending closure of the Pfizer operations. From the day of that original announcement to the present, you've shown the level-headedness that is needed through such times and have helped to lead the continuing effort with calmness, assurance, and understanding of the importance of collaboration and with absolute integrity. You're a good man, George Rivers, and a good friend, and a great municipal leader who's left a lasting imprint on Rouse's Point in the region. May your well-earned retirement be long and happy. And with, as always with Gary, onward and upward. Okay. George, you also have a letter here from the Department of State. Dear Mayor Rivers, on behalf of everyone at the Department of State, I would like to thank you for your 16 years of dedicated service in serving Rouse's Point. Through your leadership, the village has worked steadily to revitalize its downtown and Lake Champlain waterfront. The Department of State is proud to have been a partner with you in the village's revitalization efforts. The department has enjoyed an excellent relationship with the village through the local waterfront revitalization program and the Quality Communities Initiative, and has awarded 9 grants totaling close to $1 million to advance key waterfront and downtown revitalization projects. Some of the successful projects completed by the village under your leadership as mayor include completion of the award-winning downtown and waterfront revitalization plan, the development of the scenic pier and shoreline walkway, construction of streetscape improvements on Montgomery Street, redevelopment of the historic Delaware and Hudson train station, enhancements to Veterans Park, and numerous downtown facade and building restorations. We wish you the best of luck in all of your future endeavors. Sincerely, George R. Stafford, Deputy Secretary of State. And we will get that train station done. Final one from your friends at IEP. Dear Mayor George, this letter is from 2 of your biggest fans, Mike Lyons and Bill Barry. First, congratulations on your retirement, and we know that you have a great future to go toward. However, to not say how bittersweet saying congratulations really is would be remiss. Working with you over the last 15 years has been many things, mostly a pleasure and an honor, and we cannot leave out fun. Second, and less important, is that we are sorry that we're not there with you in person, but as you know, New York is a big state and there was no way for us to be there. And we hope that you agree that this letter is a lousy representation of us. If we were there, no doubt, we would have a tale or two to tell about all these years of working together. We were talking and laughing about the evening a few years back when you got the hiccups so bad from drinking too many sarsaparillas. It comes in a bottle of Black Label. Bill recalled the time several years ago at an MEUA meeting when you were so happy about an energy efficiency project that you kissed him in front of the whole meeting. I don't know if you were there, but they say you can't deny it. Hundreds of people witnessed it. Then there was the time when you wanted to go forward with a project that we thought was a bad idea. So you called the Energy Police of New York and sicked them on us. And naturally, through you, they strong-armed us and we gave in. Big surprise there. Sure. You've made a few calls, George, over the years. Come on. We all... I don't remember that. So now, one more serious thing. If there is any way that the new political representatives in Rouse's Point would want you to represent them in the village to the IEEP, we would welcome that opportunity. Working with so many electric municipals over the years, we've rarely seen a person who is so dedicated to his community and who has worked so tirelessly to make improvements to his village. The residents of the village of Rouse's Point should be very proud. Now to reality. Our wish for you is that you enjoy your time in retirement, enjoy your time with your wonderful wife. We remain surprised that such a pretty girl puts up with you. And best of all, she says how easy it is to put up with you. George, they didn't hear about you going to work, because that would have been a huge George, we're honored to know you and work with you. We wish you the best for the future and in all that your life holds. And they ended with the Irish blessing. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face and rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. All the best, Bill and Mike. There you go. Okay.
Thank you, Melissa and Kelly. And Kelly, at this time, I'll thank you for everything you've done on behalf of the village as a village trustee over the last few years. Thank you very much for everything you've done. And Ms. Molly Ryan, if you could come up and say your words, representative from Congressman Bill Owen's office.
Thank you very much. I'm here to represent Congressman Bill Owens. He wished he could be here tonight. But even though I'm here representing Bill Owens as a resident of Rouse's Point, I'm honored to be here to congratulate George on his retirement. And, you know, I didn't grow up in Rouse's Point. I grew up in Champlain, but I chose Rouse's Point because of many of the things that George accomplished here in Rouse's Point, and I'm so happy to raise my 2 children here with my husband. So the Congressman asked that I read a letter on his behalf. So I will go ahead and do that. It says, Dear Mayor Rivers, it is a regret that I'm unable to be there this evening to help celebrate your tenure as mayor of the village of Rouse's Point. Please accept my thank you for your notable service to the community and my congratulations on all of your successes. Your 14 years as mayor demonstrates your care and passion for all of those in your community. It is clear that the village of Rouse's Point has greatly benefited from all of your dedication. I wish you all the best in the future, and I'm certain that your commitment and compassion will not soon be forgotten. Sincerely, Bill Owens. So, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Now I'd like to hopefully have some fun stuff. I'm looking at Mr. King, and I've heard him speak before. And I may put him on the spot here. But I'd like to actually open up the mic to anybody who would like to come up and say a few words about George to George. I know I have friends from Tupper Lake and Lake Placid. Thank you for coming up. I'm sure somebody must have a story to tell. So at this time, first come, first serve. Mr. King or anybody? That's a race. It's a race. Who's going to be first? Oh, Alice bowed out.
Well, I bring greetings to George and sympathy to you guys losing a good mayor. From north of the border, George is just as well known as he is down here. When you had the Patriot flag, our mayor from St. Paul came over, spent the whole evening with us. Our fire department helped hold the flag, which is a piece of history which we thank the fire department for. But George and Lake Timmy Lincourt, they're the guys who really got me going down here. That I even became president of your Firemen's Association, backed by Jimmy King and George. My whole thing is fire, and I'm still involved with St. Paul, north of the border, and Rouse's Point being the first honorary member of the Rouse's Point Fire Department. It's quite an honor. I have a key to go in your station. Everything's still there. Plus, Peggy, I can remember going to their house when boys and girls were just growing up, so that it's a soft spot. I've been involved with over 50 years in this village by mutual aid with the fire department, and it all goes back, continuing with George. So that I couldn't pass up this thing. A couple of people sitting at the table I am said, you better get up there and say something. So I've done it. I'm glad I've done it, and I'm glad to have known George and the people in Rouse's Point. And I hope that the friendship under your new leadership can continue as strong as we've had prior to George and all through the 14 years of George. You don't know how many friends you've got north of the border. Thank you very much for giving me this time.
I keep looking at this table over here, and I just know you guys are just itching. Now, do I need to ask Calvin to turn off the camera, or? Flip a coin?
We're all up here from Lake Placid, and I've known George, well, I've known him since he's been on the board. Like Catherine's a trustee, she's known him for quite a while. Dave's been a trustee for too many years. But we've known him for a long time and met him in a lot of the parties, but not parties, conferences. They didn't have bar rooms or martinis. But we had a lot of fun with him over the years, and he's a great guy.
I just want to say, one time we were at a conference down in the Catskills, I think, and this guy left without me, and George took me in his personal car all the way back to Lake Placid. Thank you very much, George. That's the type of guy he was. He went 200 miles out of his way to give me a ride. Thanks, George.
Thank you very, very much for coming up. It's just another small example of small communities acknowledging and working together with small communities. So thank you very much for coming up here. And I have rode with George Rivers on the occasion as well. And Father Clyde would be very proud of me because I said a lot of prayers when George is driving. I rode with him on a fire truck. And I don't know how the heck we got there. And I rode with him to Saratoga and to Albany. And Peg, do you do the driving or do you let him do the driving? Do you ride with your eyes closed? All right. Anybody else would like to come up? Celine Paquette, I know you're just itching. I'm sorry for putting you on the spot. All right. Okay, before I ask George to come up, I'd like to actually extend a few thanks. Thank you to the American Legion, and I'm sorry, I'm going to backtrack. Thank God I have notes. Miss Jerry Favreau. All right, before we proceed any further, I'd like to ask Jerry to come up and make a few comments, remarks.
I will. I haven't known him long enough to tell any of those stories, but I do have a couple. I first met George and Peggy at the Pill Factory, and I'm sure maybe not everybody in this room knows where that is, but I'm sure a lot of you people do. I worked at Arist Wyeth, Wyeth Arist, and Wyeth, and I'm not sure that I ever changed chairs. And I'm too young to have worked at Arist, McKenna, and Harrison, but I'm not sure about George. He may have been there. I'm a Busco girl, and I lived in the town of Champlain for 30 years, and I moved to the village of Rouse's Point in August of 2000 and purchased a home. And when I lived in the country, we plowed our snow wherever we felt like plowing it. And I found out in January of 2001 when I received what I call my Welcome to Rouse's Point letter from George A. Rivers, mayor, that told me that if whoever plowed my driveway blocked the sidewalks that I was going to get a charge for the people, the village crew that had to come up and clear the sidewalk and for the equipment. And I can guarantee you that nobody has blocked those sidewalks at my house since then. And he copied the chief of police, so I knew he was serious about that. Our most beautiful village on Lake Champlain, and those aren't exactly my words, I've heard that from a number of people who have visited or gone through, or people that I have interacted with at various functions outside the village, has come so far for the last 12 years because George has been a leader with a vision and has inspired us to keep moving forward. Our beautiful village has a wonderful core of volunteers who always step up when called upon. Look at the great job they did organizing this party, and they did it in less than a week and a half. A big thanks to all of them, and most of them are sitting at a table in the back, and Carol Canfield. And without them, I mean, this village, there's just so much that goes on, and there's a great core, whether it be the fire department or the Legion or the Historical Society or the stage committee. It's those people, the volunteers, that really make our village things happen in here. George has always been willing to help the volunteers. Anytime any of the volunteer groups in the village asked him for something, or when he was mayor, he always did whatever he could to help us. And he always came to our events if he could, and we really appreciate that. It means a lot to us to put so much effort into something, to have George, come and be there. I also have attended many meetings and seminars throughout the region, and when people see that I'm from Rouse's Point, they always ask about George. Everybody in the Northeast knows Rouse's Point, and that's because of George Rivers. He has a passion about our village that will be very hard to match. George, I think we have been an excellent team, and I'm going to truly miss you. And you have taught me so much about the history of Rouse's Point. And you've been here since when? When Jack Rouse first settled in the area in the 70s. Peggy, I thank you for letting us have George and do his community service for all those years. And I know it's difficult. It takes us a lot of time away from family, and we really appreciate what you've done too. And you sure do dress them good. He always says that. And when George first heard about this little party, which started out, we were just going to have a drink. The guy asked him if he wanted to come to the Legion tonight and have a drink, and then I mentioned it at a Historical Society meeting, and this is what it has turned into. And Carol and I talked about it, at the village office, and he told me he didn't want that, and he kind of scolded me a little bit, and I just looked him in the eye and I said, I don't have to take orders from you anymore. Alice, would you come up, please? We have a gift from your many friends and supporters who truly appreciate what you have done for all of us and for your many years of service to our community. We all wish you the best in our retirement. Alice has a card for you from all of your friends.
You're buying coffee.
What else is new? One last comment. You are my hero. Thank you.
So now I will thank the American Legion. Before I do that, does anybody want to have one final chance to come up and say anything? No.
I've got one thing. You're not roasting George enough. One evening we had a fire in Champlain. We were called mutual aid. And George and I are in the firehouse. And he jumps in the driver's seat of the rescue truck, and I jump in the passenger side. And we go to the fire. But we got on the wrong street. So George forgot that we had Walt in the back. So he backs up and goes forward and hits a snowbank. And poor Walt was all over the back of the fire. I said, there's a guy back there, George. You know, he hit the snowbank and bang, back and forth. Well, we got there, but I remember that night.
All right, I mean, if we want to roast George, I was going to save it for the fireman's banquet, but hell, I can start right now. Anybody ever shoot themselves? I'm just asking. George, I love you.
I'm dirty, George.
Mr. King, we'll see you at the fireman's banquet, won't we? All right, so now I would like to extend our gratitude to the American Legion for allowing us to use their hall. And also like to thank Mr. Calvin Castine for coming here and recording this for George. Calvin, you're a real asset to our community, and we thank you very much. I'd also like to thank the Border Press for making and donating the card. Is that circulating somewhere?
It's not.
Okay. All right. Thank you to our local newspapers, the North Countryman and the Plattsburgh Press Republican. And last but not least, thank you, Peg. Like a few people have mentioned, thank you for your support and giving us George for the past 14 plus years. Although I think she should be thanking us for getting him out of the house, but I already mentioned that earlier. But the real reason why each and every one of us are here is to thank you, George, Mr. George Rivers. Thank you for the countless hours you have given to this village over the years, not only as a past village trustee and mayor for the past 14 years, but also as your dedication as a volunteer firefighter for the past 55 years. Yep. This year marks the 55th year that George Rivers has been an active volunteer firefighter for this village. We thank you for your dedication, and we wish you many, many years of health and happiness. And ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. George Rivers.
Ever had the urge to strangle somebody? I'm sort of lost for words, and that is. But anyway, you've heard the story about my wife getting a job, but the true story was I told her, I'm done as mayor. You have to get a job because I need the money No. That is my greatest supporter. And all of the stories you heard are all lies. There is some people, you know, you don't do this job by yourself. And I'm going to mention a few names, and I hope I don't miss anybody, but there's some people out there that step the extra mile for me. And one of them, God bless her, Melissa McManus. That girl and I have had some real good times and some rough times. And I think that the roughest time was this railroad station. I just feel sorry that I won't be mayor when it's done. I've been after that thing for over 10 years. And hopefully it'll get started this year. Melissa, thank you. Kelly, stepping up when I asked you, you know, in a tight situation, and I certainly appreciate it. And you, that. Thank you. And my second wife,
That's me.
the clerk of the village of Rouse's Point. God only knows where you would be without somebody like that. Because she has certainly been a godsend to me. And for all the rest of you out there that supported me and stepped to the plate when I needed somebody, I can only say thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's it for me.
You're arrested, George.
Well, I didn't hear that.
Cops are coming. You're under arrest.
Tommy? Are you on duty?
I am, I'm on your time.
You better be. I'm paying you right now. You should be out there.
You are. You are, baby. Mr. Mayor, thank you for everything you've done for me. I appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good, vacation or whatever? What are you gonna do? Retire?
Yes.
I can't see you retiring.
Yeah.
Okay, well, why don't you just speed around my village here
So
so I can pick you up?
Yeah. You probably would, too. And I have one other gentleman that really kept the purse strings tight for me, and that's our treasurer, Arsen. You've kept me straight, too. I overtipped at a conference, and it cost me $1.35 to the village. Anyway, thank you, everybody. I certainly appreciate it. I really did not want this. I just wanted to bow, and that was it. And you guys, Lake Placid, Tupper Lake, thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a safe evening. There's a lot of food in the back. Help yourself. And feel free to come up and give George a hug.
Well, that will wrap up Hometown Cable's look at this little impromptu get-together to thank Mayor Rivers for his years of service. I'm sure he will be wandering the streets and getting involved in some way in the future, but he will no longer be the head honcho here in Rouse's Point. And it's very nice that all these folks got together and recognized his years of service. So that's going to wrap it up, and we'll say that's the way it was on this 30th day of March 2012 at the Rouse's Point American Legion Post 912 in beautiful downtown Rouse's Point. Thanks for watching and for supporting viewer-supported local television, Hometown Cable. And we were very happy to be here this evening. To start the decisive fifth game. Looks like he sank 2 lows and 1 high. The highs might be, Smalley's got a good shot at that 2-ball right there. Outside of that, the highs might be his better shot. We'll see what he decides. 15 in the corner. Now he'll shoot the 11.
Did you make another break and not realize it? No, you didn't.
Well, now Velez. I don't think he wants to do anything that's going to break open that 9-ball. He may, but he's got 3 of his balls there, so it may not be his first option. But he should probably go with the 5, then the 2, then and hope to break them out. He'll take that 5. I don't think he called the pocket here. He hasn't shot. He's not shooting yet. Calling the 4 back next to the cue ball, and his intention was not to make it because he knew he probably couldn't. Although he might have had a shot if he'd hit it a little harder. He might have put the 4 in. It might have followed and went in. Perkins going to shoot the 14 into the corner. There's a lot of oomph behind it. I'll try to slice the 12 in the corner. Try to put a 10 in the side to see if he hits it hard and tries to break up those other 3. He breaks out the 9 a little bit, but it does not leave himself a shot on it. He's looking to put the 9-ball in the side. If he makes this shot, it'll be an excellent shot, and he'll have great position on the 8-ball. And he did it, and came that close to scratching. That cue ball hit and almost went in the side, but it didn't. So it turned out to be an excellent shot for Perkins. He is going to shoot the 8 in the corner. He does it, and he will advance with a 3-2 win over Velez. Perkins will advance to the next round, and Velez will move to the losers bracket.